Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. Now, there are a few things when you talk about your finances that a lot of people think are fixed, in that if you buy an insurance policy, you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. And there are mistakes perhaps that people have made early on, and they tend to keep those going and they don't fix those early enough. In fact, this is the time around Diwali when they say it's a great idea to consider both cleaning your house as well as your finances. And my next guest will talk to you about how you can fix your insurance policies as well if they need fixing. I'm joined by Naval Goel, founder and chief executive officer of PolicyX.com. Thank you so much, Naval, for taking the time. First of all, how important is it to look at your assets, look at your insurance policies specifically, and how often should you review them?
As you rightly said, so there is, utmost need to kind of review your policies or assets every year, because what happens is over the time period, sometimes we'll end up buying the wrong policies, which may be right at the time of buying, which you might think that this is the best policy at the time of buying, but maybe today, according to your needs or your risks that you carry, it might not be enough or adequate. So I suggest the viewers to at least review whatever they have, all the policies every year. Separately, they should create a plan of what they actually need in terms of protection, and then match it with what they really have, and then probably take action on it. So I would say that at least once a year review is a must for insurance policies.
Okay. Now, the other factor that you should probably speak about is the differentiation between these policies. You have traditional policies and you have term policies when you're talking about life insurance. What do you need to bear in mind when you talk about this categorization? Because there are certain charges associated with closing out a policy. So how do you go about doing that?
Right. So as you rightly mentioned, traditional plans are there, and then there is protection type plans if we talk about life insurance per se. And then if we talk about general insurance, mostly we talk about health insurance because that is something that everybody. So talking about the life side, definitely, you can probably have three broad categories of plans. So one is pure protection. The other one is traditional, which is more like investment. And the third one is, again, ULIPs, which is more like a market-based investment. So what needs to be understood is protection plan is for your risk cover. So what happens in protection is that you pay a very small premium and you get a very large cover, but you only get paid when something happens to you. So that is basically to protect your family in case something happens to you, so that they can continue living the lifestyle that they're living currently. The second type of plan, which is more like traditional plans, where mostly you get guaranteed benefits. So these kind of plans are used for investment purposes. So if you have some spare money, you want to invest in various instruments are there available, right? So for example, somebody might want to invest in mutual funds, fixed deposits. So insurance is also one of the instruments that people use for investment purposes. So basically, these plans are a combination of protection plus investment, but the primary objective becomes investment, wherein you invest your surplus funds and you get a certain, guaranteed return from the insurance company after a certain duration. So these plans can be used for children education or for planning your future expenses. The third type of plan are the ULIP plans. Again, these plans are used for investment purposes, but they are more like market driven. So you can, and these plans carry very little charges. So when it comes to choosing which investment plan to buy, you can probably choose between ULIPs or traditional plans, depending on your risk appetite. So ULIP will definitely carry higher risk, but they will definitely have better returns than traditional plans. So in this, three broad categories of plans, The single most important plan is the protection plan, because if you think about insurance primary objective should be protecting your family and not to kind of generate higher returns, right? Because for investments you also have other types of instruments. So I think the number one priority that anybody should give is protection plan. He should have an adequate cover. So if the income of a person is, let's say, 10 lakh rupees per annum, so he should have at least 22 crore rupees of sum assured of protection, which will ensure that his family is able to live the lifestyle that they are currently living, even if you're not present or even if you're not earning due to some reason. So I think that is number one priority. After that, you can also evaluate what you have in terms of traditional plans or ULIP plans. Sometimes what happens is that you bought a traditional plan, it had great returns and all that, but there is a better market today. So those plans have to be evaluated on a case-to-case basis. And if there is a better opportunity, you should consider everything. For example, if you surrender that plan, what happens to your sum assured, what happens to the cost structure and all that. But if there is a cost-benefit analysis done, usually we recommend using a professional to do that, because, policies are very complex, so you should understand what you are getting into. But I think that evaluation is very, very required, because what happens is if you evaluate, you might actually get a very big, benefit in terms of sum assured or lower premium. So I'll give you an example. In the last 6-7 years, term insurance premium were going down in India. So somebody, let's say, who bought a 1 crore cover in 2018 versus somebody who's entering in 2020. So a person who bought in 2018, if he were to evaluate in the year 2020, he would find out that if he were to surrender his existing term plan, basically surrendering means just stop paying the term plan premium. And if he were to enter a new plan in 2020, he would save a lot of money for the premium. So these kind of, market opportunities might come their way if they do the evaluation.
Okay, but the other factor to remember, I would think, Naval, is that the older you get, the more expensive that policies tend to get, right? Particularly if you're talking about health and you're talking about life insurance. And in health, of course, there are also those preconditions that need to be matched, and there are waiting periods on certain illnesses that need to be carefully scrutinized as well, right?
Absolutely, Alex. That is why I said, there is a proper evaluation which is required. So somebody, let's say, who is entering a term plan at the age of 30, and at the age of 31, the premium would go up if he were to enter a new plan. But on the existing plan, he's paying the same premium. But if the market decrease in the price is so much, even after that, age-based increase, he's landing up paying lesser premium, then he would want to switch. This kind of evaluation is required. And when you are buying a health insurance policy, definitely you should be very, very concerned about the continuity benefits. So usually a health insurance plan would have a pre-existing disease waiting period. Usually it's 3 to 4 years. So somebody who already has a pre-existing disease, if he enters a new plan, then it might be a challenge. But today, if you look at the regulations, it allows portability. So whatever continuity benefit you were getting in your previous plan, that gets carried forward, and still you are able to enter a better plan. So this kind of evaluation is not easy, I would say, for anybody to do, but sometimes they do result into better plans and better opportunities.
All right. Naval, thank you so much for joining in. And in fact, I hope that people take your word very seriously this festive season, this Diwali, and they clean up their finances along with their homes and welcome Goddess Lakshmi into their homes. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right. On that note, we're slipping into a short break. Do stay tuned. More on the other side.